My name is Ian Charlotta. I'm here. This meeting is being recorded. I will be the hearing officer for San Francisco Public Works. Jackie is the clerk for this hearing. This hearing is being recorded via Zoom and will be available afterwards through a link on San Francisco Public Works website. As this is a virtual hearing, there is no sign-in sheet. So if you'd like to receive information about the results of this hearing, please send an email to the sfpublicworks.org address. This public hearing is being held to consider one active encroachment permit. So hearing order 208200 to consider a request from the San Francisco Recreation and Parks Department for a major encroachment permit to install and maintain the following improvements at Francisco Park, located at 2445 Hyde Street, block 0047, lot 001. So one ADA parking stall, an access aisle on Larkin Street frontage to provide parking access for persons with disabilities, to be 29 square feet of encroachment, and one maintenance yard bounded by a retaining wall, fence, and a gate to establish storm drain piping and drainage structures, utility service piping, and to provide a material storage area serving the park for a total of 792 square feet of encroachment. The other items that were on the agenda today have either been postponed or canceled. So my job as a hearing officer is to gather the facts for the hearing item, listen to your testimonies, and help our Director of Public Works make determinations. I will not be making any decisions today. Instead, I will forward the findings from this hearing to make my recommendations to the Director. The Director will make the final determinations. When the Director's determinations are made, the department will notify you of them. Therefore, if you want to be notified, please email the address. So I will first ask the Public Works staff to present the case, and then we'll allow commentary. Each speaker has a limited amount of time, set at 3 minutes. The clerk will be monitoring the amount of time. And comments and questions should be addressed to me, not the department or the presenter. If you cannot finish any comments within the allotted time, you may submit written testimony to me by the end of this hearing. If I feel that a question is warranted, I will ask the question. After all comments are completed, we'll close the item, and in this case, the hearing. We will now begin the hearing, and I'd like to begin with order 208200.
Hello, my name is Shannon. Am I supposed to present, or can someone?
Shannon, if you have the presentation, I'll be happy to put it up, but you are a panelist. You can share your presentation if you'd like.
Is it possible for you to? It's in the folder.
Yes. Yes, I can do it. 1 second.
As he's setting it up, I could just start with what I have. So again, my name is Shannon from SF Public Works, Bureau of Streets and Mapping. As Ian said, I'll be presenting on Public Works Order 208200 to consider a request from SF Rexton Park for a major enclosure permit at 2445 Hyde Street, where the Francisco Park is located. The request is to install and maintain the ADA parking space, as well as a maintenance yard area, which includes various utilities. So on the second page, you can see a project site. Most of the work has been done on Larkin Street. And then the third page, we have more details on the right-of-way encroachments highlighted for different utilities or parking spaces, as well as the retaining wall. On the next slide, you'll see the photos since this permit was constructed at risk. Work has already been done, so you can kind of see what it looks like. The next page is the enclosure letter, which we received from Kelly, who's here right now from Parks and Rec. And then this permit has gone through referrals with general planning as well as task, and we received no objections. During the notification period, we also received no objections. This ends my presentation. If there's any more details for me to clarify, or if Kelly can elaborate on anything, let us know. Thank you.
And just to make sure, did everyone see that? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Ian, you'll need to unmute your microphone.
Great. So I guess if that's the presentation from Public Works, what commentary is there from Rec and Parks?
Okay, please make sure you use the raise your hand feature. We have 3 people in the attendees, Kelly, John, and Bruce. There's also the first item on the agenda was any other items of regular business. So if anybody needs to speak, please raise your hand and use the raise your hand feature and we'll unmute you. Go ahead, Kelly.
Hear me? Oh, great.
We can hear you. Great. Thank you, Kelly.
I just want to identify myself. I'm here. I'm the project manager on the Francisco project, and just I think Shannon covered everything well. Not much else to cover except that, you know, this was the improvements were a big improvement to Larkin Street there, where the work in the right of way was. It wasn't an accessible sidewalk before, and so, you know, we think we made a really great improvement. But I'm here for any questions.
Okay, if it doesn't look like there's any hands up with the hearing officer, would you go ahead and double check for any comments and then we can close it out?
Okay. Does anybody have any additional comments or questions? Please raise your hand.
Let's go ahead and give it 30 seconds for everybody to raise their hand. Doesn't look like anyone's raised their hand.
Okay. In that case, I have a question. So from the presentation, it looked like the improvements that have already been constructed and we're basically doing a backdated permit.
Yeah, that's correct.
Is there a reason why this was not reviewed before it was constructed?
I came in near the end of the project where it's already constructed. I'm not sure. Just Kelly, do you have any
Yeah.
background on that?
I can speak to that. The project was submitted to BSM, and BSM said that it would be a minor encroachment permit. We went through the noticing and the whole process, and at sort of the last minute, BSM changed their mind and said, I'm sorry, this is going to be a major encroachment permit. So the construction had already been underway of the park, not the improvement yet, but the park. And we couldn't stop to wait for the major encroachment. So that's why we're here today. And so we did the at-risk letter so that we could continue construction. And that's why we're here today for the encroachment permit.
I'm not sure I follow that construction could not stop if you did not have the permit to do the construction as directed.
So basically the scope of work didn't change. The permitting requirement changed. We were in the middle of construction, and what happens is if that's the case and we need to move forward as another city department, we write an at-risk letter. That at-risk letter says that if for some reason this permit is not eventually approved, the major encroachment, that as the owner developer of these improvements, that we would reverse them. So there's a very small risk because these improvements are actually beneficial. You know, they're not using right-of-way space for something that's not a acceptable use. But so the at-risk letter allowed us to move forward with construction.
Okay, so construction began with BSM's approval under the minor encroachment permit, and then they changed their mind after construction began?
Well, they never approved the minor. So we
Okay,
had
then how
done the
come
noticing.
construction began?
Right, exactly. So because they had never approved the permit for the right-of-way work, we were able to do the at-risk letter, continue construction, and now we're doing the closing out the permit for the right-of-way work.
Oh, understood. Thank you for clarifying.
Sure.
Okay, I guess if there are no other comments, unless any hands have gone up in the meantime.
I wonder if they know how to raise their hand. Okay. Stand. If they are here. Of course they want to talk.
So, Ian, if there's a section of the opening outlining if you need to raise your hand, you can, and you're dialed by phone, which no one did. So we don't have that. But along the bottom of the screen, there should be a raise hand button. And if anybody wants to raise your hand to speak, this is your last moment. And it doesn't look like anyone is, so turn it back over to you, hearing officer.
Okay, if we have no additional comments, then I guess I am closing this hearing.
Thank you.